In this lesson, I'm going to be showing you how you can randomize an array. So sorting the array in place is going to give you a random order. I've got the order of the items there. So we're starting out by pineapple, apple, banana, pear, and cherry. We're using the array sort, and we're randomizing the return value either to negative or positive. So whenever we click it, we've got the event listener on the page that's listening for the event. It's taking whatever the current array is, and it's randomizing the order. So now it's starting as pear, pineapple, banana, cherry. Let's click it again. Now we've got cherry, banana, banana, cherry, and we see that all of the different items are constantly shifting as we click it again and randomize the order. I've got an HTML file that we are linking to an app.js file, and this is where we're going to be writing the JavaScript code. On the right hand side, I've got the browser window opened and the console, the JavaScript console at the bottom. So that will give us a way that we can see the output that's coming from our JavaScript code. So first of all, let's go ahead and we're going to create an array. So creating an array and then add in some values. So we can add in apple, and we'll just add in string values for now. So banana, and then keep it out of the natural sort order. So I'll have a pear there, and then we can have a cherry. So this isn't going to be any particular order right now. I'll also do one right in front as well. So do a pineapple there. So no particular order for the content. I want to output the content within the console log. So output all of the array contents. So there's our array content. And what we're going to do is we're going to be selecting the page element that has the class of box2, and this is where we're going to be outputting the content into. So I'll just give it a variable name of box2 using the document and query selector. Select the element with the class of box2, and this is where we can output the content. And we'll also add an event listener for this element, so that way once it gets clicked, so just add an event listener, adding a click event, and then once it gets clicked, we're going to run a function called make array, and let's go ahead and we're going to create that function. So create the function that will run once the box2 is clicked. So when that gets clicked, it's running the function. You can also output into the console, and I'm just going to have the word ready there. So when it gets clicked, it outputs the word ready. So what we want to do is we want to sort the order of the items of the array and then output them onto the page. So create a function that will output the array, and it'll take one parameter, and the parameter that's going to take will just be a value of a for array, and then it will loop through each one of the array items, looping through and setting the elements on the page, and we'll add those on to the page. So for each element, and right now we'll just do a console log to output each one of the elements on the page, and take the array contents that we have, and so console log ready will take the contents of whatever the current array is. So ARR is our array. So we click it, and there's our order of items that are being output into the console. So let's add them, and we're going to update them into the element. So within the box2 element. So first we take the box2 element and we set the inner HTML to be blank. So that will clear out the existing content. And then as we loop through, what we can do is we'll create a span, and using the document create element, create an element which will be a span. So that will allow us to add it into the page element box2. So every time we loop through, we can set the text content of the element, and that will be whatever we've got sitting within the current element that we're outputting. And then what we want to take is add the span. So we need to take the parent element that we want to add it to, which is going to be box2, and then append. So append the span into that element. So we click it, and that gives us all of those elements. So I also want to add in, so I'm using the backticks there, so that's the template literals. So that's why I can use the $ and the curly brackets. Backtick is to the left of most keyboards, and I want to just create a little bit of spacing between the list. So that gives us the list of items. We can also take the index value as well. So how about we add that in, where we're going to be taking the index value of the elements as we're looping through. And this will give us a way to output the index value of the current element, and then the element content. And I'll update this to output as HTML. So instead of text content, it will add as inner HTML. So that gives us the ability to have the full list there of all the different spans. We can also create them as a div, and I'll just update these so it make more sense there as a div. And we can get rid of that. We can take this back to text content and then setting up and adding the div to the page. So basically that just gives us a list of all of the array items. So what we want to do is we want to take those and do a sort. So we're going to be using the compare function. So what that does is it's converting the items and converts them to strings and allows us to compare it. So if we had a number in there, it would convert it always to a string. So the compare always uses just strings. So let's do a compare. So that will give us a way to sort the order. So every time it gets clicked, it's going to do a new sort order, and we can output the array. And let's set the new sort order where we'll take the array values and then using the sort. And if you just do the sort by itself, it's going to sort it alphabetically. So we click it, and we've got apple there at the top, then banana, then cherry, pear, pineapple. Every time I'm clicking it, it's redoing the sort order. So within the sort, we also have an option for adding in parameters. So it's expecting a function return there within the sort. So we can just do an anonymous function and then return back a value. So in this case, let's do a value of -1. So we click it, and this affects the sort order there. So it's starting with cherry. And then when we click it again, it's going to update the sort order. So the cherry goes to the bottom. So now it's sorting it within this order using the -1. If we update this to +1, that's once again going to give us a different sort order starting with pineapple. We click it again, and we're sticking within the current order. So it's keeping it within whatever the current order is. The -1 is going to be affecting the sort order and reversing the order. So once again, click the -1. So we're starting out with cherry, pear, banana, apple, and pineapple. And when we click it again, the -1, it just reverts the sort order of whatever the current array values are. So that's why whenever we're clicking it, it's changing the sort order. So what we want to do is we actually want to randomize the sort order, where we're taking in the different values and returning back a random value back to the sort order. So we're going to, instead of having a value of 1 or -1, let's randomize that so that we can have value of 0.5 and subtract the math random. So this will give us a random odds of either being positive or negative. So now whenever we click it, we're getting this randomized sort order that's being returned back. And you can use this formula in order to sort the values of an array and make a random sort using the sort method, which is built into JavaScript already. So now every time we click it, we have potential to get completely random values there. So you can see they're always changing completely at random, and we're getting different values there at the top. So that's how you can use the array sort and randomize your array. And sort also sorts the array in place. So it's not making a copy of the array, it's sorting that original array. So that's where the difference is, that there's two different ways to sort the arrays. And this is where we're outputting the two values there that from the sorted values of the array. So go ahead and try it out for yourself.